My first guest is a returning guest. You may remember him from last year, State Representative Brian Sims from Pennsylvania, who's now running for Lieutenant Governor of the great Keystone State. So, Brian, come on in.
There I am. Hold on one
There,
sec.
there you are.
Hi,
Yes,
Amber.
indeedy. Hello there. Welcome back, Brian. Man, you've been campaigning for Lieutenant Governor for how long now?
14 and a half months.
And that's a big state to get around in.
It's like I'm having a giant baby.
Yes. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So how are you feeling about the campaign?
I actually feel pretty great. You're catching me at a really fun day. Today is the 30-day mark. I am 30 days, 1 month away from the primary, May 17th, after 14 and a half months campaigning. I feel really terrific. This is a big state, as you said, and I have traveled it through and through for the last year, almost year and a half. I'm the only candidate for my race that has, and that feels pretty good. And I've received support now from every state in the United States, every county in my state, even the 4 territories, and so I'm pretty grateful. So I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, you're running against two other people. One is a current office holder, and the other one has run for the office before. Is that correct?
That's exactly it, which means that it's not a shoo-in, right? People ask this about when people like a candidate for office, they just assume that they're going to win. You're going to talk to Representative Rafferty a little bit, who is a truly fantastic, groundbreaking legislator in Alabama, but he has a challenger. And the people that like him are just going to assume he's going to win, but he needs help in order to do that. And the people that like him need to support him. And the same is true in my race. There are other people running in this race. They have lots of support in different places that I do. And so it means it's like a lot of elections. It's really going to come down to, and maybe not election day, but election month for us.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, we had Malcolm Kenyatta on, who's one of your fellow state representatives there in Pennsylvania, another gay representative, and he's running for Senate. So that leaves two gay vacancies in the Pennsylvania state legislature.
It doesn't exactly. Listen. I am. First of all, thank you for assuming both of us are going to win. Your assumptions are right. Both of us are going to win. But what it does do is it opens up an opportunity for others to win. Now, I was the first out person to be elected to our General Assembly. Malcolm was the second, but there was a third. There's a woman named Jess Benham who was elected in the last cycle out of Pittsburgh. She's
been on the show.
Has she? She's fantastic. Jess is really special for lots of reasons. She is openly bisexual, but she is also on the autism spectrum and speaks about it often. It impacts the type of legislation that she advocates for. But more than that, there's a woman running for my seat in the House of Representatives named Deja Lynn Alvarez. Deja Alvarez. Go to Deja 4PA. Deja, when she is elected to fill my seat, will be the first trans woman ever elected to a state legislature in all of America.
She's well,
trans Latina. Pardon me, trans Latina.
Okay.
You and I could name a whole bunch of trans women. Brianna Titone and
Taylor Small.
Exactly. Now, Deja Lynn Alvarez will be the first trans Latina elected to a state legislature in America, and it'll happen here in Philadelphia. So my district hopefully will be in very good hands.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. So are you still in session with the state legislature?
We are, and that's in some ways problematic. We were just in session last week, and a lot of people know that the Pennsylvania General Assembly passed a trans sports ban for girls in sports. Now, we have a Democratic governor, and he's going to veto it, which I'm grateful for, and it's part of the reason I'm running for lieutenant governor, so that we have that kind of power in the Capitol next term. But we're in session the week after next again, and I expect to see a couple more anti-LGBTQ bills come up.
That's frightening. Now, you mentioned your Democratic governor. Now, in Pennsylvania, well, here in Vermont, we have a Republican governor, a very good Republican governor, and a Democratic lieutenant governor. The split party. But that doesn't happen in Pennsylvania.
It does not. So in Pennsylvania, we run our lieutenant governor and our governors separately during the primaries. And then after the primary, there is a ticket. And I can only win if our Democratic governor wins. We have a really fantastic Democratic governor named Josh Shapiro, who I've been endorsing every day of my career, and I'm really excited about him every day of my race. But I only get to serve if the Democratic governor wins as well.
Are you in favor of that sort of system, or do you think it should be split up?
What I do know is this. There has been a lot of efforts in Pennsylvania to get rid of the electability of our lieutenant governor seat. there were efforts Republicans were pushing specifically that would allow for either the party or the gubernatorial candidate to pick the lieutenant governor. And just like I don't believe in gerrymandering, I don't believe in voter suppression. What I know is that when we give the voters the opportunity to decide who they want in office, the voters get it right every single time. It's elected officials that get it wrong all the time. And so for me, if the voters of Pennsylvania believed in a system where we could elect a Democratic governor and a Republican lieutenant governor, or vice versa, I would certainly support the system. It would require a change to our Constitution, but the system as it is right now, I support as well.
I saw a poll last week that in your Senate race that John Fetterman had like a 24-point lead in the Democratic race. That has to speak well for you if that many people are for such a left-leaning senatorial candidate that they're going to say, "Hey, I like John, so I like Brian as well."
Well, I hope so. Part of the reason that I am running for this job is because of the job that John Fetterman has done as the lieutenant governor. I've learned a lot about what a progressive can do in this position. I'm the only progressive Democrat running for the lieutenant governorship right now. I'm the only person in this race that has spent 10 years fighting for progressive values. And a lot of those are values that Lieutenant Governor Fetterman spent his time in that position advancing. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised that the voters of Pennsylvania want progressive Democrats, and I'm not surprised by polling that shows that kind of support.
You said you've received support from all 50 states and all the counties there in Pennsylvania. How's your campaign doing? I mean, do you have enough to last the next 30 days?
I've got some campaign staff that are watching. Hi, everybody. Don't kill me for saying this. We're doing well. I just hit the $1 million mark, which is not something that anybody like me has ever done in a race like this. More people coming into this year had donated to my race than in any lieutenant governor's race in Pennsylvania history. I have more donors than have ever donated to a race like this in my state in its history. None of that means you win. It means that you have a competitive chance of winning. The United States has never elected an out lieutenant governor to any state in the United States. This is all an uphill battle. It's all hard. But I have the benefit of having, a country of LGBTQ plus people and progressives and a lot of women who have seen me fight for women's and reproductive rights step up to support a race that I hope is going to be pretty historic.
Now, as lieutenant governor, do you think you will still have as large a voice as you did, say, as a state legislator?
Well, I ask myself that a lot. And part of the reason I ask that is, as a lieutenant governor, obviously I am one of one. And as a member of the House, I am one of 203. I'm one of 253 state legislators. But the primary job of our lieutenant governor is to be the president of the Senate. And that's not a job that it requires a partisan voice. But as we've seen from Lieutenant Governor Fetterman, there is a lot of leadership that happens in our capital and around the state that does require that voice. And, I've been a leader in my state on women's and reproductive rights, racial and ethnic justice, LGBTQ civil rights for 10 years. And I don't think that's going to change.
Well, fascinating. So what's your strategy for the next 30 days? Anything?
Yeah, it is. Like a lot of places around the country, there are people in Pennsylvania that fundamentally don't believe in voting for somebody that they've never seen, that they've never laid eyes upon, someone that's never talked to them about themselves. I have the benefit of being the only candidate in this race that has actually campaigned statewide. But what I'm doing with this last month is really, we're a 67 county state. I am the Democrat in my state that knocked the most doors in the entire state last cycle for other candidates. That's how this is supposed to work. My life gets better with more Democrats in office. And if I'm going to ask people for support, I'm going to show them support first. And I'm going to spend this last 30 days, like I spent the last 15 months, on the road, talking to people about the things that matter to them the most and what I can do to impact them if I have their vote.
Now, the past couple of days, I have seen your name in the headlines with a little controversy about the Democrat running for governor. Can you clear that up?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a system